Hello. Hey, everyone. It's about 15 past now. Thank you for coming here. I know it's really cold outside and it's really rainy. Really appreciate you being here. So today we've brought a special guest. He's currently living in Portland, and he has some new things to show everyone. And one of them is a interesting string instrument and something that interfaces with that in the computer. Yeah, so give a round of applause to Peter Blasser.
Thank you. Thank you, Darren. Thank you. I might not use it. Ooh, bass. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, boo. Okay. Good evening. Yes, like Darren said, thank you for coming out. So I'm going to test my gear first. These are just to keep the UV out, and it's actually working really well. So it's not a fashion statement. I brought them for this reason. So I just want to check this older piece of gear called the Cocoquantus. It's a digital delay, and it has some analog stuff in the middle to modulate that. But I noticed that as over the years, many years with this one, every time I check it, I have this routine, and I've been showing it to my kids too. And it's like a little poem. I hope to communicate it right. It's actually just a check, instrument check before you mail it out. So I'll try to stick to that score. Okay, the first thing we want is the beach. So I patched that up. It should be going at the beach. There we go. Waves at the beach. Maybe I can put both beaches. Oh no, that isn't part of the score. Okay. And then I check the other side of the beach. Okay. And now I want to put a buoy on the beach. Okay, that works too. And then I make the buoy going up and down in the waves at the beach, like a signal. I can change that. Ooh, party foul. Okay, check the other side of that. Okay, still got the signal at the beach. And then I check, this is a digital delay, I can change its speed. So I'm just moving it up and down. Like it's a different kind of a beach. Lo-fi beach. And then I check this other function. This is the output of the digital output itself. Okay. That sounded like that opening of a movie. Okay, and then ooh, these are nice and short. Look at that. I can't check that one. Oh, yeah. New technology. I already checked the instrument, but Darren's right. Chain it. Okay, check. And then I start doing the flip and the skip. I can hear the sound of the flip. It's flipping the delay. And skip is kind of like that too. You can hear it there too. So now what am I modulating by? Well, I'm modulating by this analog section in the middle, which has oscillators, like we said, the buoy, and then here's the buoy on the waves, and then I have a whole check routine to check how the analog logic goes. But basically, I just turn up the chaos knob. Oh, and that chaos knob isn't working. Oh, here we go. There we go. So I can prove that it makes chaos. And I am looking for hyper chaos after I was told about it. And if I may paraphrase what hyper chaos is, it's bouts of pure noise mixed with musicality. So I'm looking for that combination of bursts of noise, and I have the chaos knob up really high. It can go high, so high that it's quiet. I mean, that's the ultimate musicality. This silence. And then I'll try to see if this, if this starts delaying this, so we get our delay effect. So I figured the beach on the other side. So now I go to the other side and I start again with its beach. Aggressive beach. Aggressive beaching. Correct. Make it a bass. Okay, that works. So now I've checked actually all of the delay sections, and from then on I would probably appropriate this mic and then plug that into the, see, it's not, hello, I'm not, you don't hear me now. And so I plug that in. That's part of the check. Check, 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 text. Text. Insert text. Check. Text, please. Text. Insert text. Check. Modulation. R. Whatever. R. Check. Text, please. Text. Insert text. R. I don't know where that came from. Check. Text. That wasn't me. So I'll just, free-form radio. I'm going to say what we're doing tomorrow is assembling Tow Conte. These are Tow Conte instruments, and they are, just analog oscillators, and you notice there's no knob. So how do you tune that? So I'm interested in tuning. I think I've realized that I've actually been interested in tuning more than electronics. And I'm interested in weird tunings, right? That's what, how a boy would say it. But actually, this isn't a weird tuning. This is just the standard capacitor value components. As I purchase them, I send a spreadsheet to PCB cart, specifying capacitors according to the cheapest and most readily available and awesomest ones. And there are a list of numbers: 10, 15, 22, 33, 47, 68. And they repeat over decades, and you can cut them in half and stuff. But basically, this is tuned by just industrial capacitor values. So I'll play the scale. Start at the lowest note. These are really close ones. So this is the triangle wave version, and I love the high note on it. But also it has these nodes, and these are touch nodes, so this is where the noise comes in. I'm sorry it's quiet. I could plug it in. I think you hear it though. This is like a morning coffee thing. I really like doing these workshops with people because they take this home, and it's like you have your water and your Tocante in the morning when it's really quiet. And that's like, I don't think of electronic music as necessarily what I'm doing right now. Like, this is just my presentation. But I think of it as, coffee time, as I mentioned. Also, I'm doing a lot of solar sounders. I'm not doing them here. That's just how things landed. But I make these. I'm going on a European tour right now. I'm doing 3 cities where we're making it's a bird, a monk, and a train. We want to do a bird and a monk. And they make the sound, and they have solar panels, and they, if the sun's out, they make sound. If it's not, they don't. So that's like an electronic music for the day, and actually it's for crows to listen to because it's outside. It's not an audience. But you guys are fine. I love you. You're okay as an audience. Let's go move on with the presentation. And I'm okay as a performer too, right? Like thus. So I would like to present what this manifesto is about. I'm not going to read it. Thank you for Rachelle for pushing me to do that. I was really worried about words in it. Fascist, music, Islamic, Foucault, Iran, noise, disorientalism, etc. Christianity. But thank you she just made me bang it out because I had it in my phone and it was ready to come out. And actually, this instrument is supposed to be released on election day of this year because it took a year to make. And it's a protest because it's in this tuning. And I just want to show you the tuning first. Well, that's the stringing. Actually, I can... Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Oh, I can hear where I'm going to tune it real quick. I think. I'm going to upload a patch to it that is just for tuning it. Well, I can tune from that. So this, when I sell this instrument, I try to sell it with the bronze instrument, the bronze strings on it. But it could have the steel strings of a guitar. I made it with steel frets. And basically the idea is to take the Persian Tar and make a computer music version of it. The first thing that has to go is the gut frets that every Persian musician would use to fine-tune their neutral thirds. In place of that, it has metal frets. So it's succumbed to the same thing that happened to the piano in the Industrial Revolution: metallization and circuitification and computerization too. Empowering with power. I'm just going to show these. This tuning, this is why it's a protest, because it's not in 12-tone equal temperament. And you can't play minor or major music. You can play minor music. That's cool. Manner music. I can turn it up here. So you know that sound. That's just a generic neutral interval scale. And on the SHTAR, they're marked in brass. I use brass screws to mark it. And then steel screws mark the power chord. Right? And then here's my brass. I like playing it on my own, and I don't have a song for you about it, but I am going to go through the patches that I've written here on this. Oh yeah, you can see it. Okay. I'm just going to, musically, you don't have to see it, but let me just serve this kind of, so you can make, it has a synthesizer in it. I'm just going to do something that I think plays just stuff. The resonance of the brass strings, but like I said, you can use steel strings. Trying to be really 70s. I don't know if you could pick up on that. Maybe I'll explain that. I've been listening to Pat Metheny a lot. He uses... Right. So, and he uses this guitar resynthesizer, and we're in a synth store, so I'll talk about it. And then I went on the YouTube hunt, there's King Crimson uses it and stuff. It's that cheesy thing where it goes I don't get it yet. I'm trying to go for it though, but that Pat Metheny synthesizer sound. I listen to jazz in the workshop. make these instruments, I test them, and I mail them out to people. But during the day, all I listen to is jazz while I'm screwing them together and running them. So that's where I'm coming from. But you don't care about that. Instead, well, it's an insight into my life. You know, let me get some questions. Does anyone have any questions?
What kind of jazz?
Well, in Baltimore, it's all based on the radio station. So Baltimore had WEAA, and that was smooth jazz. Well, that was smooth jazz, and it was cheesy. And then if you look back even more in my life, my dog that I barely took care of, well, I walked him. When my dad died and I went away to college, the dog was alone in the house, and my mom would play cool, smooth jazz for the dog too. And then I realized that it's like a passing of the time. It gave him something to listen to. I don't know if she thought he was lonely and the jazz fixed it, but that's kind of implanted the seed. And then I kept that going through Baltimore. And actually where we live now in hipster land in Portland is they have a really good jazz station. In fact, I gave them $360 in a pledge drive. And you know, pledge drives, why haven't they made a movie about that yet? Or like comedy or anything. I mean, that would be an awesome, it could be a drama, a comedy. I like office humor. I mean, I like office shows too. To answer your question, what kind of jazz? Yeah. Yes, sir.
What exactly are the parameters of this string instrument?
Good, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and yes, you are the person I am serving because you asked like concrete, actual question. Okay, so the fretboard outputs, I know which fret I'm playing because the string is grounded. And so these are just a bunch of switches now. That's the industrialization that I was referring to, like in the piano. Like, it's not gut strings and it's not bronze strings and gut frets anymore. It's a circuit board with stainless steel frets on it. So that is parameter numero uno. You have 32 bits. And you could also, I'm wondering if I have a patch that shows this, but playing multi-frets is just like playing a bunch of different keys. It's not really polyphony, but it's polydata for sure. So that's like the prime reason for building this. I mean, the other reason is just acoustically trying to make it an acoustic object, trying to make it sound right. The other parameters are these knobs, which have Eurorack inputs, and these piezo sensors. So one piezo sensor is the bridge. And when I put it in, this is straight mode right now, as in just acoustic, and I'm still using. Oh, it's top string. So this is just straight acoustic mode right now. And that piezo also can control synthesizer data. So here I'm pushing on it, and it's like triggering that like filtered saw wave. And by the way, this mode that I just put it in is called add mode, which means I can play, and the computer music is mixed with it as an addition. And additionally, the instrument has a multiply mode that is ring mod, and it's an analog ring mod. So I have to explain the acoustic effects that you get. It's really important to understand why it's an analog ring mod. It takes the sound of the bridge and then takes the two stereo channels of the computer music and multiplies them by the bridge. And then so you can hear that. Now that could be done in the software, but I wanted something like, because I hear high frequencies a lot, right? And I listen for them, and I actually have a problem with high frequencies with people eating. And don't worry, I'm fine. Actually talking about it, you're fine. But I hear also, like, you hear little crunches as an instrument maker, and you're like, I gotta fix that. I'm mad. It's an anger, misophonia. So that's why I wanted to make an analog ring mod. And also, there's a lot of other things I can do with the ring mod. Is I can use it as a trigger for the computer music in general. I like another trigger, but then you have that pure ring mod sound. I can make a compressor with that too, because I can do low frequency computer music. So I can make like a tremolo. Maybe I'll make a tremolo real quick. Okay. By the way, this software is bleeding open again. I've made, if I can digress, this is the other instrument in the family of these two digital instruments. This is the synth, and it has these bars that you press. And they're similar to when I press on that bridge. I can get those kind of tones, and I can program that, and the buttons, and actually it has antennas on the back for detecting how near your hand is. So that's all programmed in this language, SHLISP, and this newest edition is programmed in SHLISP too. And so if I want to make a tremolo, well, I have to put left there, because that's the left channel, and then I can put right inside it, okay? And that just means left and right are the same thing. Right is inside left. And then, I'll use a horn. Now, a horn is a triangle wave. The reason it's called a horn is because I'm trying to keep this language neutral in terms of having Japanese or Chinese characters, and a horn, triangle in Chinese is literally 3 horns. So I just said, why not call triangle waves horns? It's funner than saying triangle wave. Okay. So I'm just going to do a horn at a certain speed and serve this. So there's my tremolo. And that's because the ring mod is multiplying multiplying the computer music, which is at a low frequency. It's so low you can't hear it. Well, actually you can. It's just low frequency computer music. And so now I have my tremolo. And then, so maybe I want to change how that tremolo, when I play different notes on the neck. So I'll use my finger to change it. Ooh, that erased. I'll use my finger. That's cool. Is that you? Yeah. Okay. You hear that? Okay. So here. And the tremolo becomes like a tone up there. So actually, let me make a little point here. So that is the harmonic series. And to use that to mimic the intonation of the frets, I actually had to make an opcode called scale, which takes finger data. I mean, just listen to what I'm saying. I'm hypnotizing you. Scale takes finger data, and it outputs. That's not hypnotizing you anymore when I say output. But you can hear that I'm doing my scale. So I can also program the 17-tone equal temperament scale into the computer music. So, well, I talked about recipe on the manifesto, and I just want to clarify what I meant by that. This is a recipe. So this is like just computer music score, and it always runs the same way every time. And that's different from when you patch it. And you notice in my synthesizer performance, I had to make changes, or I was baffled by certain things. And that was part of the nature of it. But with this, the inherent nature of computer music is, well, you can create something really complicated, but it is a recipe in the end. And so, yeah, I guess it's a little bit more focused. I think I got your question about the parameters down. Was that clear enough for you? Yeah, USB jack, stereo output, mono inputs for the Eurorack knobs.
As a Shem's owner,
Okay.
if you will be releasing this version of Fish.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you it. It's really sweet. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about what Fish is. It's a program for visualizing nested opcodes. Well, Lisp is made up of parentheses. And so things are nested within other lists. That's all it is. And this is just a way of visualizing it. Everything's kind of like nested within the other thing. Do we have any other questions from the audience? I think I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to see what's in the buffer. Can anyone else have any questions? Well, then I'm going to leave it at that. Is that good enough time for you? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Come up afterwards and come tomorrow.